We are live.
Word, boom, bam. Welcome, chat. Welcome, everybody. I don't even know who's here yet. Let me take a look. But anyway, how long are you going to be, John? Unless he's doing his thing now. Anyway, you guys got to bear with me now because John is doing a thing. What thing is he doing? I don't know, but he's doing a thing. Let's see. I think you guys might have come from the premiere. I don't know if you've seen it. Let me know what you think about it. But I think we just came from it, and we were taking care of some stuff in the background. We got a really interesting show for you today, and we're going to go over some stuff. If you did come from the premiere, we're kind of going to talk about some of that stuff. So, like I said, if you guys want to mention anything about it, or you have any questions about it, or any feedback, or anything like that, now is the time that we're going to talk about it. But we got some stuff lined up for you. And let's see what else. So he can talk until June 30th. That I'm not too sure yet. I was gonna say I don't know if John wants to go over that part yet, but
Okay, sorry about that. I had to adjust some things here real quick. My bad.
No, you're good. I was just giving them the rundown about the stuff from the premiere, and we're gonna probably talk a little bit about that. So if they had any questions to get them ready for you, so that way we can get things going.
Yeah, we'll get things popping here. Any good news? So, as far as I know, so it looks like I said, we did hear from Ben. Looks like he did an interview with Chris Como. Seems to be in good spirits. There is this. This is probably the news that has come out today. To what its effect is going to be, I don't know. I think that some people might misconstrue its significance, because it might not necessarily mean what people think that it means. I mean, look, I'm no lawyer, so I could only, whenever we look over stuff here, we look at it from a very layman's perspective of, just certain understanding of the law, but we don't know what necessarily all the jargon means. Or
so, John, real quick, I don't want to interrupt you, but I was thinking we should probably invite one of the legal people that are talking about it. You know what I mean? So I really liked Legal Bites video.
yes.
You think we should try to hit her up sometime?
Yeah. I'd be down to hit her up and see if she'd be down to come on and kind of explain,
just in case we get anything wrong, she could clear it up and everything.
Yeah. What kind of, exactly what the legal recourse would be for, Ben and whoever. But I did see, so I saw this filing because of a Twitter I follow named the Pun King, who shared it. And his tweet, I'll just let you know what his tweet said here instead, because it led to this. So he was saying, according to reports that Gormans have filed a motion to modify or end the TRO in the civil case against Ben and Brian. Post includes links to purported documents supporting the claim. So he says, in my ignorance and based on some of the language, I personally think that this is not a good look for the judge. He may have had a responsibility to know that the TRO would harm ongoing litigation from other courts. I'd love for someone with legal chops to talk about this aspect. Yeah, same. So I agree with them there. So what I think what the Gormans are trying to do, because remember, the TRO kind of extended to them, and they've been kind of mentioned back and forth throughout the lawsuit in Bricks and Minifigs. The thing is, it looks like, that's part of it, but I also think that seems to be part of it, Rubate, but I think it's also them, it's the fact that this again, they're just like, well, hey, from at least from me going over it, a cursory glance of just kind of looking over it, they're also kind of arguing like, hey, we got ongoing litigation with this company where we're like, we're suing them. So it seems to be kind of them saying like, we got to fight this on this front first. And, we're being implicated over here. It's just like, so, but we'll just go ahead and read it,
Hell yeah. John.
Read what it says. So this was, filed, I think some days back. But it says, you see here, this is them basically, pursuant to Utah RCIV, non-parties Chrystal Law, Benjamin Gorman and Banff Salem 1 LLC. The Law Gorman parties respectfully move for limited intervention in this action for a single purpose of being heard at or before the June 22nd, 2026 preliminary injunction hearing on the scope of any injunctive relief and to present the accompanying motion to modify or dissolve the temporary restraining order entered June 2nd, 2026. To the extent that that order purports to reach them, or their dispute, this is a special limited appearance. The law Gorman parties do not submit to the jurisdiction of this court for any other purpose, do not appear as defendants, and do not waive service, joinder, or any defense, and expressly reserve all rights, including their rights under the Utah Public Expression Protection Act. And then it says, should any claim ever be asserted against them based on protected expression. So again, I think that they're trying to just, just, hey, look, what you guys got going against Ben kind of interferes with our case, this TRO. So we want to kind of get it out of the way, but also not really involve themselves in this case. Because this is a separate case, obviously. So introduction, relief requested, statement of facts, argument. The law Gorman parties are entitled, or again, that's the way I'm interpreting. I could be completely wrong, though. The law Gorman parties are entitled to intervene as right under Rule 24A. The motion is timely. The law Gorman parties claim an interest relating to the subject of the action. Disposition of the preliminary injunction motion may, as a practical matter, impair that interest. No existing party adequately represents the law Gorman parties. In the alternative, the court should grant permissive intervention under Rule 24B. The requested intervention is limited in special request for expedited treatment conclusion. So they're trying to get this done as soon as possible, it seems. So introduction and relief requested. The law Gorman parties are not defendants in this case. They are the plaintiffs in a separate action, BAM Salem 1 LLC versus BAM Franchising Incorporated. And there's the number of that case. Pending in the Utah Business and Chancery Court, arising from BAM Franchising Inc.'s termination of their Bricks Minifigs franchise in Salem, Oregon. They have never been named, served, or joined here. Yet the ex parte TRO entered in the case on June 2nd, 2026, defines the scope of its central mandatory provision by direct reference to one of them. That being Chrystal, obviously, because remember, she's named repeatedly throughout the that lawsuit as one of Ben's co-conspirators and supporters. That's basically how they frame her in those filings. So, let me see. Go back. So it says they have never been named, served. Okay, defines the scope of a paragraph. Okay, 5. Commands the removal of co-defendants' publications that in any way relate to the private legal dispute underlying this matter between Brian and Chrystal is movement Chrystal Law. More significantly, paragraph 5 extends the order's restraints beyond the named defendants to their affiliates, co-conspirators, employees, contractors, agents, and representatives, and anyone acting in concert with them directly or indirectly. While the verified complaint names 15 DOE defendants, the law Gorman parties have received actual notice of the TRO. They therefore face an intolerable position. An order entered ex parte in a case to which they are strangers that, by its terms, erases speech concerning their own dispute from the public record, and threatens to be enforced against them through concert, co-conspirator, and DOE language, all without service, joinder, notice, bond, or any opportunity to be heard. Due process does not permit a court to adjudicate the rights of a known non-party by description rather than by joinder. The law Gorman parties seek only the limited opportunity to be heard on the scope of relief before the TRO is converted into preliminary injunction on June 22nd, 2026. So what I get from that is that obviously the TRO obviously will hurt their case because of stuff that can be shared publicly. Stuff that can be disclosed. I think it's a matter of disclosure. And they're hoping that whatever's disclosed is stuff, that if it's not also, it kind of like this apparently this TRO basically interferes with their case.
Yeah.
I'm assuming is what they're arguing, and that disclosure of whatever comes out of here is going to be significant to their case as well. And the fact that they're not named as that they're not being sued here, but they're mentioned repeatedly. They're just kind of like, hey, we're being pulled into this. We already got another suit going. We got to kind of handle that first. We got to kind of get that squared away. And this kind of interferes with that.
Yeah.
The parties and the order plans, plaintiffs, BAM Franchising Incorporated, Amy McNeff, Matthew McNeff, Josh Johnson, Brandon Best, and Baker Bricks LLC commenced this action and moved ex parte for a temporary restraining order against Benjamin Paul Snyder, aka Reckless Ben. Reckless Ben LLC, Brian Ansel, Victor Nguyen, and Does 1 through 15 on June 2nd, 2026. The court granted the motion and entered the TRO ex parte. The scope of the restraint, the TRO restrains the named defendants, including Does 1 through 15, their affiliates, co-conspirators, employees, contractors, agents, and representatives, and anyone acting in concert with them directly or indirectly, in person, remotely, online, from 11 enumerated categories of conduct. The takedown mandate, paragraph 5K, is mandatory. It requires that the publications and any such other communication published by co-defendants be immediately removed and or taken down from any online streaming platform otherwise published that in any way relate to the private legal dispute underlying the matter between Brian and Chrystal and the assertions of wrongdoing as described in this verified complaint. Chrystal's movement, Chrystal Law, and the private legal dispute is the subject of the Law Gorman party's pending business chancery court actions. The security ruling, court excused any bond, reciting that no security is required if it appears that none of the parties will incur or suffer cost, attorney fees, or damage as the result of any wrongful order or injunction, and that co-defendants will suffer no legitimate harm from being restrained. An evidentiary hearing on plaintiff's motion for a preliminary injunction is set for June 22nd, 2026, and the TRO remains in effect until the court rules on that motion. The Law Gorman parties are the plaintiffs in BAM Salem 1 LLC versus BAM Franchising Incorporated, Utah Bus and Chancery Court, in which they allege the BAM wrongfully terminated their franchise, seized their assets, and defamed them. They are not named as defendants in this action and have not been served. They have received actual notice of the TRO. I'm guessing they meant to say they haven't. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, a lot of sticky stuff there. It seems like, yeah, the main argument is that this kind of interferes with our case, so it needs to go away.
Yeah.
It needs to go away.
John,
Especially, go ahead.
Because I was going to say, I don't know. Remember, like, I guess we could bring it up later, or we could talk about it later, but like that theory that I was having about a joint suit, you think that would, I feel like weird moves are happening.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what's going to happen, I mean, if there's not a countersuit,
yeah,
then I believe that, I don't see any reason for there not to be a countersuit, considering the circumstances. But I feel like Ben is the kind of guy that would probably just be like, "No, it's good." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This is the way he comes across. Like, I'm done. As long as they admit the wrongdoing, apologize, and
but there's a lot of people in the party, involved. So I don't know if everyone will feel that way.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's what remains to be seen, right? Because apparently Sheldon Norcross, Ben's friend, is apparently filing a suit against Brandon Best. From my understanding, he's mentioned it repeatedly on his channel. And, as far as these other people, I don't know if they would want to. They might just be like, "Hey, it was a fun experience," but no, I think that,
I guess the whole, like, the point is the Legos, like that's just their goal. You think that's what it is?
I think that's what it is. That'll end up being like, the goal is just, hey, we got this guy's Legos back. Now, as in the matter of the American Fork Police Department, I think that's an entirely different matter. I think that's one where they could probably all get together and jointly sue and end up getting at least, some kind of settlement from the American Fork Police Department. That one, I see it kind of going more their way, because there was a violation of civil rights on not just Ben, but all those people that were with him. But the people that were with him. Yeah, so That's one where I could see that happening. With Bam, I think they would probably just be like, well, look, hey, Bam came to the table, they paid the guy out, he got some Legos back or whatever it is that they end up doing as a result of settlement. Because again, I don't see a scenario where it goes all the way to court. If it does, I think that would be crazy. That would be that would be PR seppuku if they decided to take it that far to just say, screw it, we're gonna go to court, we're gonna go all the way. We could reach mediation all the way.
Like I ain't no expert, but I'm like, in terms of conspiracy, like with Josh and Eamon and all them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think that would be something as well? Because I'm like, they were involved with Josh and Eamon and probably Brandon as well. You know what I mean? They're involved with this shit. It's not like, oh, it's just random police corruption. It's like they were involved. They were like at the behest of these people.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that be conspiracy?
Yeah, it'd be a form. I would assume, it would fall under civil conspiracy. So I mean, it just.
We'll have to wait and see.
But probably even more than that, because they're all part of, they're all part of the same company. So,
yeah,
probably more than civil conspiracy. I'm sure there would be another charge, or there would be another cause of action there.
That's the one I'm really looking. I'm like, I don't want to say looking forward to, but I'm like very interested in. So
let me see. Is.
Oh yeah, John.
Let me see if we can find information about it. Let me see. Yeah, so it would be like a form, I think, form of not just civil but corporate conspiracy. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'd have to look more into it though. But I'll get through this one here though, and then we'll look at Chrystal's video, her initial video, for those of you that haven't seen it. So the law Gorman parties are entitled to intervene as a right under Rule 224A. Rule 224A provides that on untimely motion, the court must permit anyone to intervene who claims an interest relating to the property or transaction that is subject to the action and is so situated that disposing of the action may, as a practical matter, impair or impede the movement's ability to protect its interest unless existing parties adequately represent that interest. Well, that definitely applies here.
Yeah.
That definitely applies here, especially considering the Legos. Yeah, absolutely applies to this, right? The Utah Supreme Court applies a 4-part test. The movement must show that its motion to intervene was timely, that it was that it has an interest relating to the property or transaction which is the subject of the action. I would say so. That the disposition of the action may, as a practical matter, impair or impede its ability to protect that interest. That its interest is not adequately represented by existing parties, and then they cite a case here: Supernova Media Incorporated versus Pia Anderson, Dorius Renard, and Moss LLC. The law Gorman parties satisfy each element. Federal authority construing the substantially similar federal Rule 24 is persuasive. Let's see. The motion is timely. Timeliness is determined under the fact and circumstances of each particular case, and in the sound discretion of the court, and is viewed not from the perspective of the original parties, but from the perspective of the intervener. So, yeah, I mean, what was set up there, I think that definitely all applies to the position that the Gormans are in. So, looks like they, this is. So far, it seems all pretty legit. A motion is generally timely if filed before the final settlement of all issues by all parties and before entry of judgment or dismissal. Yeah, definitely. So basically before deadline, right? Internal citation omitted. The TRO was entered June 2nd, 2026. No preliminary injunction was issued. And on June 22nd, hearing has not occurred. The law Gorman parties move at the front end of the injunction analysis before any relief is fixed and before any party is prejudiced. The motion is timely. So the law Gorman parties claim an interest relating to the subject of the action of movement need not prove an interest. The rule requires only that it claim an interest relating to the property or transaction, which is the subject of the action, which I pretty much is, I would say. The law Gorman party's interest could not be more directly related to the subject of this action. Paragraph 5 defines the scope of the order's central mandatory provisions by express reference to their dispute to movement Chrystal law by name, their protected expression about their own franchise dispute and the public record of that dispute, and the very things that order commands removed. Things the order commands removed. Disposition of the preliminary injunction motion may, as a practical matter, impair that interest. Any preliminary injunction tracking the TRO, as a practical matter, impair the law Gorman's party ability to protect that interest. It would mandate removal of content concerning the dispute and would furnish plaintiffs an instrument to assert on pain of contempt that the law Gormans are bound as persons acting in concert. The injury is concrete and immediate, and judicial oversight is never an adequate substitute for intervention where a right to intervene exists. And they cite that another case here. No existing party adequately represents the law Gorman parties. The burden of this element is minimal and is satisfied by showing that representation may be inadequate. And they said another case. Intervener need only present some evidence of diverging or adverse interest. And they said another case there, no existing party represents the law Gorman party's interest at all. The named defendants are differently situated online commentators. They are unserved. Several have not appeared, and they have no incentive and no apparent ability to protect the distinct interests of three strangers to this case, whose franchise litigation the order incorporates by reference. Plaintiffs, of course, are adverse. The element is met. So it looks like they did their homework in terms of being able to file this this motion to intervene. So it looks like, yeah, this could be something that goes through. Now, what it'll mean for Ben, I don't know. I don't know if it's something that'll free him from being blocked from still releasing content. Because it seems like part of the argument here would be like some of that content needs to be. It looks like what it's. And I could be wrong. Would be completely wrong about this. It looks like what's being expressed here is that some of that stuff needs to come to light because it involves us.
Yeah.
So
well, like we were talking about that.
Yeah, are you getting that from this? Because that's kind of what I feel like this is.
Well, it seems like what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like anyway. But no, the first two videos did a lot of impact, and it made. Like, what is it? Bricks and Minifigs as a corporation look like shit. It made a police department look like shit. What is the rest of the footage going to do?
Yeah, well, remember also in that Legal Bites video, right? In that Legal Bites video that we watched, there was her saying how basically this whole thing, right? The stuff that Ben said, it's like, yeah, he might have a strong case against the defamation because of XYZ reasons. Because of these factors.
If he's telling the truth, then he's not lying.
Yeah, exactly. So let me see. So we have here, it says, in the alternative, the court should grant permissive intervention under Rule 24B. 24B permits intervention by anyone who has a claim or defense that shares with the main action a common question of law or fact subject to the court's consideration, or whether the intervention will unduly delay or prejudice of adjudication, the original party's rights. And then they cite Utah law here, the scope question that law Gorman parties raise, whether an injunction may define itself by and operate against identified non-party shares common questions of law and fact with plaintiffs. Pending preliminary injunction motion, limited intervention will not delay these proceedings. Movements ask only to file one motion and be heard at the already scheduled June 22nd hearing. Interesting. So yeah, so they're gonna be there apparently on this 22nd. Oh, it looks like we got some people that came over from the last relic. Awesome. Glad to have you all here.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you.
So let's see. The requested intervention is limited and special. The law government parties do not seek to become defendants or full parties. They ask leave only to one, file the accompanying motion to modify or dissolve the TRO and to oppose entry of a preliminary injunction of the same scope, and appear to be heard on June 22nd, 2026 on the scope of an injunctive relief. Courts routinely confine intervention to a discrete purpose. And they cite another case here, directing the district court to allow limited intervention confined to specified claims. The law government parties assert no claim in this action and submit to none. The motion sets out the defense for which intervention is sought, as Rule 24C requires that the TRO and any preliminary injunction may not consistent with due process. The First Amendment, Article 1, Section 15 of the Utah Constitution, and Rule 65A bind, restrain, or define their scope by reference to the law government parties. Grounds developed in the accompanying motion to modify or dissolve the TRO. So here we go. Request for expedited treatment. Because the preliminary injunction hearing is set for June 22nd, 2026, the law government parties request that the court consider this motion on an expedited basis and treat the accompanying motion to modify or dissolve TRO as a conditional filing or be heard at or in advance of June 22nd, 2026 hearing on plaintiff's motion for preliminary injunction. Conclusion: for the foregoing reasons, the law government parties respectfully request that the court grant the limited intervention for the purpose of challenging the scope of injunctive relief, except accompanying a motion to modify or resolve TRO, and permit them to be heard at the June 22nd, 2026 hearing on the scope of any injunctive relief. So, and this was dated.
That's not too far.
Yeah. This was dated just yesterday. So they did this just yesterday. So what they're we got a visitor here. Welcome to the stream, The Last Relic.
What's up, guys? Yeah, again, sorry I didn't get back to you guys in a timely manner. It's been nuts.
No. We understand. We just got to the end of this here, so it was good timing there. So
Okay,
so we'll just wrap this real quick. But so it looks like they're going to try to get involved and try to be there on the 22nd to fight against the TRO. It looks like. So
that'll be interesting.
To put in the most layman terms possible there. So we'll leave that at that for now. But let's turn our attention here to our guest. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Shoot,
hold up.
I'm gonna pop in and up because I don't know why I can't hear you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
I got you.
Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
No worries. That's funny. That's funny.
That happened to be the other day too.
Yeah, no, I remember that happened to me. You're like, I can't hear you, but like the entire chat's like, because I can hear him fine,
Yeah.
But
I couldn't hear you. I had to change my settings as well. So we'll have the Last Relic come in here and we'll chat with him for a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out for a bit. We got some insight to ask the man himself. You feel me, John? You feel me?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you really feel me though? On a scale of 1 to 11.
I mean, I don't know if maybe.
Yeah, then never mind, John. You don't feel me. All right, it's okay.
I do feel
all right.
You're my boy.
It's okay.
You're my boy, man. My boy, I got it.
It's all
Can you hear us now?
Okay, now my bad. I don't know. That happens a lot. Like it happened with Echo Base Network and pretty much anywhere else I went. Like as soon as like a stream ends, like I can't hear nobody. Like I don't know what's going on. But
I got you.
Yeah, it happened
my
to me.
Computer.
It happened to me too.
First and foremost, man, thank you for your time. Thank you for hopping on. Do you have anything? Yeah. Is there anything that we can address you by, like Relic, Last Relic?
Yeah. People just been addressing me by Relic, so.
Perfect. Just one.
So that's fine.
All right.
Cool. Well, yeah, thank you for coming on, man. Yeah, like I said, we went over your interview. We watched your interview the other day. I had watched it beforehand, or I was watching it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some things that, we had some questions about it, and also, of course, because a lot of people have been asking. They're like, how do we know this guy's legit? How do we know he was a former BAM franchise owner? And I saw even in Echo Base Network when they were talking to you, there was like, does he have a franchise agreement and stuff like that?
Yeah. I have a franchise agreement. I'm willing to share it with you guys. There's like certain when I sent out the text, like I talked to a friend of mine, and he's like, "There's a lot of like personal information there." So like,
Yeah, no,
I was
redacted, of
actually
course.
gonna,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm having it redacted or whatever, and then I'll send it over. But
Yeah, yeah.
also,
Perfect.
you guys are in the Florida area, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. We're
We
based
are.
out of Florida too. So
Awesome.
we're
Are you
we're in
guys nearby
Central.
the Tampa area at all?
We're
We're in
central.
Central Florida. Yeah, we're Central. So not too
Yeah.
far. Probably
Close.
about an
Close
hour and
to.
a half, hour 40 minutes away
Yeah.
from Tampa.
Roughly. Hmm.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because if anything, like from the people I talked to, again, not a lawyer, but from the people I talked to, they said it's better not for me to send it. If anything, I could show people in person the franchise agreement, and then you
Yeah.
guys, I could send pieces of it that don't have like my home address and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah. I
other
wouldn't
stuff or
expect any of that. I would
signatures.
say,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I would expect you to redact any type of personal or revealing information just for safety.
yeah.
Yeah.
And security. But yeah, but since you're so tell us a little bit about. I'm sure this is going to be we're treading old ground here with stuff you've been asked because I know you've made the rounds not just with Echo Base, but you've been making the rounds and stuff. But regarding becoming a franchisee and so forth. What I wanted to ask franchise agreements and when you became a franchisee of Bricks and Minifigs, right? Is it different state per state from what you've seen, or is it just kind of a general? Is there a general franchise agreement that they put out to people that apply to be a franchisee?
It's more of a general thing. Anything to do with the state, it's more aligned with your LLC. Like, I don't know if you guys have opened an LLC in Florida, you have to register with SunBiz and then
Yeah.
Yep.
provide additional information. You know,
Yes.
so it's general across the board, and then anything that, again, attached to your LLC, that's with the state.
I see. I
Right.
see. So
So
when you signed your franchise agreement, all the stuff. So, for example, the stuff that like the Gormans have put out about their franchise agreement, saying that it had consignment as a part of it. So when your franchise agreement, did it have all that stuff in it too that you were allowed to take on consignments as per the agreement?
yeah, I have to read the specific language, but I believe like during training, so you go out to Utah and do what they call discovery days, which is pretty much you're already there, and I think it's after what they call discovery days. You go there and you do like this week-long training. You know, you get to work at Matt and Ammon's store for a whole day, get like the in and outs, work with customers, and then they give you a training on like what they recommend to not do. Because it's like, oh, this is in the contract, but we recommend you don't do this. So, but
Interesting.
regardless, when I had the POS system, we used Heartland. Are you guys familiar with the Heartland POS system?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar enough.
So when I don't remember seeing a spot where you could do consignment or like having an agreement come out. So I don't know. That's where I would want to know if like did Chrystal get Bricks and Minifigs lawyers to do a consignment agreement? Did they have something prepped from Bricks and Minifigs, or did they get their own lawyers to like have everything look over, or was it just a piece of paper signature handshake type of deal? Like that's what I want to know. I would like to read the consignment agreement just for
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
th-
'cause
So, but I never did any consignments.
okay.
I gotcha. Because I was curious. I was like, would Chrystal not just also because I think corporate was aware of the consignment agreement set like in several different instances. So would it be possible that she just reached out to corporate
Yeah.
prior, right?
Well, it would make sense, like because if you're corporate and the landlord is reaching out to you instead of Chrystal
Right.
to get rent because they claim that the landlord's reaching out, then you must know what's going on. Because also the other thing is Chrystal was a store manager before she was an owner. And usually that only happens if you are a store manager of a corporate location, then you become an owner of a different location. And I don't know if it's the same location. And she also only had a 1 year, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was in the CoffeeZilla video. She only had a 1 year franchise agreement. Like, and
Right,
that's
right.
that's very weird to me, because I've looked over, like, just to answer the question, I've looked over other franchise agreements of other franchises that have like nothing to do with Lego, and and usually minimum is 5 years
Mm.
to own any sort of franchise.
Well, she had also mentioned, I think that I think I think she might have mentioned it being a year, but also I think or that she was only a franchise location for a year. I think possibly due to, I guess, her location wasn't doing well, and I guess she was wanting to abandon the store at that point, which I think maybe that's, I mean, it's all in litigation right now, so I don't know what's going to come out. We haven't gone over
Well,
her legal docs either yet, so.
yeah, that's the claim. Matt and Ammon said that like they wanted to prevent like them filing bankruptcy or litigating the store and stuff like that. But she claims that she's the one that called to make a deal, because also
Right.
in the franchise agreement, corporate has first right of refusal. You know, so you have to actually offer your store to corporate or other franchisees. Like, they would prefer another franchisee have another franchise instead of just somebody else they got to meet. And that's why, like, they weren't too keen on me bringing on an investor when I mentioned it.
I see. That makes
So-
sense.
This might be a little off topic a little bit, but I just kind of want your opinion on it, Relic. So why do you think they had a problem with you and the marketing? Because I thought that was actually a smart strategy. I thought that's important for like business health and growth, is marketing. But it seemed like they kind of fought you on that. Like, did they ever clarify anything, or do you have any like suspicions about that?
They never clarified.
Right.
I couldn't understand. Like, I'm still not even understanding why they're doing all this stuff. Just trying to destroy people's lives and all that. Like, it makes no sense. The only theory, again, allegedly, and this is a theory, the only theory I could think of is that they're finding some way for an exit strategy and for them to pocket a ton of money.
That's what it
and
seems
then
like.
just destroy this company. Yeah.
That's what it seems
makes
like.
no sense.
Because they could, like, if they probably won't go under. They'll probably file for bankruptcy and liquidate. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
'Cause
probably all
also-
over the place.
Also, I'm not, like, I told them in the phone call when I finally got a hold of Ammon, like 3 months after the whole debacle happened. I'm like, this is ridiculous that you're not compensating. And by the way, till this day, they've never sent me the inventory list that they created. I've never seen it.
Now that you bring that up, the inventory
Yeah.
list real quick.
Yeah.
So Chrystal had claimed, or Crystal's husband had claimed, I don't know if you saw the video that he put out, where when they came to seize the store, that I guess there's something in the agreement that they had with Bricks Minifigs about getting like a third party, auditor or appraiser to go over the inventory.
Yep.
I was wondering, because I saw your interview with Echo Base Network, but I don't recall if you ever mentioned that they did that for you, because it sounded like that's where you and Chrystal had kind of a similar situation, where Brandon was the one that kind of took that role. Is that correct? Or
Yeah. So again, when they send Brandon out there, he doesn't have the store yet. Like, when he's there, he is business partners with Josh in separate businesses, and then Josh had a office, from what I know, in corporate. Okay, so he was part of corporate, but Brandon wasn't. So from what I understand, and I could be wrong, is that Brandon can be considered third party.
So that's
Which
interesting,
is
John.
obviously stupid and ridiculous. Yeah.
so that's kind of it's kind of a Weasley way to get around that, because he
seems
obviously
shady.
because he obviously is going to have his own self-interest in regards to auditing or appraising stuff, especially being an owner of stores himself.
Well, what was that thing that Josh
Yeah.
was talking about, that he might have been an employee of Eamon, him and Brandon or something? He's an employee of Eamon? Do you
Well,
remember
the
that,
thing
John?
is- Yeah, no, but the thing is, remember the way they presented, at least from what I've seen, the way they presented Brandon was that he was corporate. That he was like a representative of corporate, at least
Mhm.
in the
Yeah,
way
well, like
Crystal described him.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
way they told it to me is that they partnered with these guys that are store rescuers, which is Josh
Right.
and Brandon. And so to me it was just like they were a different company. Obviously they don't yeah, they're not these by the way, let me know if there's certain words I can't say on your
No, no,
channel.
no,
I
bro.
don't
We're
want to
completely, we're
I want to
completely
respect every
uncensored
channel
here.
I go on.
Nah, bro, we're completely uncensored
Okay.
here. You can say whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome. So these retarded bastards freaking like the way they come in is just like we're not corporate. Matt and Ammon are corporate, but we are the ones that are gonna take the store after Matt and Ammon do their thing.
Mhm.
So
That's
that's
freaking
the
wild.
impression that they give you in the beginning. Yeah,
See, but that's a lie because Josh worked for corporate.
it's a lie. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. That's insane. That's well. Let me not get into it. Let's just keep going course. We'll get into it later. But another thing that I was kind of curious about because I remember you were mentioning, and it is true that hurricanes do like fuck up Florida often.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, in your initial agreement, did they ever offer you like insurance, or did that have to like come out of your own pocket? I was just
No,
curious
I
about
have
that.
to go after my own insurance because
That's what
that
I
deals with
thought.
state to state. You know. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
go after your own insurance.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're
I
not
was
gonna
just
have
curious about that.
hurricane insurance in like the desert. You know. Like,
Yeah, like Oregon or anything like that. So I figured you'd probably have to
yeah,
go
yeah.
after your own. So that's probably why you financially
Hmm.
struck with the store. So that's like out of your own pocket and everything.
Yeah. Well, like that's the thing because I'm not a moron and I saw the profit margins like day one. I
Yeah,
cut off all the vendors, so like even if we made very little money, like under 300 grand, we're still profitable. Like we had a decent amount of money, but I explained this before. Like what I wanted a marketing campaign that would get us to $1 million in sales in a year,
yeah,
right? And so that's why I took some money out of my house. I'm like, okay, if we have at least 40,000 and I take some of the money here and we take some of the money from my house and I do this campaign, it will get us on a solid trajectory.
right.
Immediately when I did that, hurricane. I was like,
Oh,
shoot,
geez.
that marketing, like it's something you can't predict, right?
Yeah,
But then
yeah,
when I called them, I was like, I have money to survive. Like we're good. It's
yeah,
just I can't make a prediction of what kind of increase we would have, and then if an emergency does happen, I don't know what kind of damage that would be
right.
because like I was, like the store next to us had a leaky roof from the hurricane. There was another store that shut down that was like a preschool because the tree fell, but the rest
Yeah,
of the building still worked. Like not in our plaza, but in like a plaza next to us or something. It was all this stuff that I was like worried about.
right.
And I told him my priority is to always pay the landlord royalties and payroll on time. And but they found a way to utilize all that against me. So
Wow.
Yeah, because
like we
because
were, yeah.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ask questions.
Oh no, I was gonna ask you because I remember in your other interview with the Echo Base guys that you had mentioned that they had not been paying rent when they were supposed to be, and
Yeah.
were
So
essentially going to leave you stuck with the bag once they were out.
yeah. So in that phone call, it was November, and then they said like, all right, when I presented my idea of like selling to them, they sell it back to me in a certain amount of months that we agreed upon. Then we started talking about when they would take over. So then they just said like, so don't worry about December rent. We'll take care of that. Okay. Well, the first week of December goes by, they haven't paid rent, and then I think Brandon comes in the second week, and that in that same week I received my letter, and part of the termination says I didn't pay rent on time, and it was the only month that rent wasn't paid. But again, stupid on me because they said that they would do it, but I didn't have
Yeah.
anything in writing. Like they recorded every phone call, and
Oh,
that's the other thing. I've asked multiple times, even when I had attorneys for every transcript of every phone call we ever had with their accountants, with corporate, with Matt, Ammon. Send it to me. I would like to see everything. I would like to see the inventory count you guys made, all that stuff. And they just held it. Like,
blew
I
you
remember
off.
I received an email. Yeah. I received an email, but then everything was restricted by like somebody who had access to the Wesley Chapel email, because I know when they take over a location, they can't take over your bank account, but they could take over your email. And everything was in the business email, right?
Oh man.
So then somebody I knew who had access tried to send me the things that were on there, and then as soon as I received it, like, I couldn't open anything. So right now, like, and one of the reasons I don't go after and trying to, I guess, prove my stories is I keep saying, like, my focus is trying to get back to the story of Reckless Ben and his
Endeavor?
situation with Brian.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just agreeing with
Deborah,
you.
because my story, it like I want you guys to understand who, like, these people, their character, who they are, right? I'm not trying to get money and fame, and like nobody has to believe my story. But
Right.
and it was one of the reasons for yesterday's stream. I brought in the employee that was with Bricks and Minifigs for 7 years. He was one of my employees, solid guy, and just I try to be very unbiased and ask him the right questions of how he felt, what he understood, what we knew with the whole situation, and if and it kind of, like, a lot of the stuff during the time that he was with me, like, hopefully he's like a witness to what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's like mainly the extent I've been going. So and I tell everybody, like, I'm not mad at you if you don't believe in my story. I'm not putting out every piece of information, like, and if the internet wants to go after me, like, they'll do their thing and figure out all the stuff. Like, the only thing I talked to somebody, I'm like, when you get any P&L statements from this particular accountant, look at the ones that they redacted and the ones that, like, we had conversations about, because, like, I point out, in every business you have to have a bookkeeper and you have to constantly talk to your accountants, because they just put the numbers where they think they're supposed to go, and they won't talk to you if something looks weird, and, like, why is this cell bigger than this, and then it jumbles up the P&L statements, which was a mess when I was trying to get to the second location, because they would send me my P&L statements and I'm like, dude, all this is wrong. What are you talking about? And then I had to send them more information, and then the landlord got to see that, like, we were making money.
That's crazy. So the night, so you had mentioned also, the night of your store seizure, which also, happened at night. You had also mentioned them bringing their favorite U-Haul trucks.
Their favorite rental car.
Yeah.
To the location. You
So,
said, yeah. Go. Yeah, I was just saying, could you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about that particular night and how things unfolded?
Yeah. So the day they closed it was the day after their name was off personal guarantor. So for those who don't know what that means, it's a big deal when somebody's your personal guarantor. It's kind of like co-signing, but for business, right? So Matt and Ammon signed on as personal guarantor to my location to give the landlord some relief that, like, this is a solid dude. This is somebody you could trust to pay rent on time and have a profitable and good store, right? Because it's almost like guaranteeing, if I falter, then the responsibility is on them. So it's also one of the reasons why I thought, like, oh, we have a solid relationship, because they're willing to do this, And so that night they were officially off the contract, and then they shut it down, and then I got a call around 7 a.m. Like, leaving me with the lease.
What the fuck?
For those of you who don't know, yeah, I had another 4 years left, and that's around $500,000 that I would be owing to the landlord, which I didn't know on that day.
Yeah, so
I got the
no
call
prior
later on.
notice. They just pull the plug, and it's just
No,
like
they didn't
Right.
they didn't put anything on social media. They didn't inform any of the customers. They didn't even inform the property manager or the landlord. They informed nobody. The only one that they informed was the GM, and he called all of us and told us that it was shutting down, and it was like around 7 a.m. I was confused about it. I was already confused with how they were treating the store, but I was really confused that they were shutting it down like out of nowhere.
Right.
And I tried calling corporate, nobody's answering. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go there and talk to the guys. And it's just three dudes. I don't even know their name. They have big U-Haul. Three guys just from corporate Utah, and they're there just cleaning out the store, throwing Lego like it's nothing, just chucking it in the U-Haul as fast as possible, and just everything's like getting broken.
so wow.
But yeah,
So not even so Brandon, Josh, none of these guys. None of them even had the balls to be there for that. They came in initially, but they weren't there for when things went downhill.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting also, John, because it kind of lines up with how they didn't like let the public know that they were going to shut down the was it the Oregon store?
The
Salem?
Salem
The
Kaiser
Utah
store.
yeah.
Salem, that's
Yeah,
the one. Yeah, that one. They didn't even remember because the guy pulled up
Yeah.
and he had no idea they were closed. So it kind of it's like a pattern, like we keep talking about when we go over things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I find that
And I have
interesting.
no idea how many more stores they've shut down or took over, because their ambition was to have over 50 locations.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Like if you look at Emma Saris, she's a YouTuber, and she had like I think she had a deal with Bricks and Minifigs, and then when she actually got to meet Josh before he even came on at Bricks and Minifigs, I guess, for a grand opening, and she claims that he told her that they wanted to have like 50 to 100 locations or something like that, or 20 to 50. Yeah.
Well, they kind of
Interesting.
messed that up.
Yeah,
Is
especially
that-
now.
Or did they? Who knows? Did they?
Yeah, right. Well, supposedly, right. The word is that they have zero now,
Yeah.
but there's no reason to believe. There's no
No,
reason.
they still own the Eugene location.
Oh wow,
They
yeah.
still own Eugene.
I saw that there was a new LLC that was registered for that location that was under actually Matt McNeff. But I don't know exactly.
Really?
But yeah,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me see if I could find it here. I had actually covered it. We covered it in a previous stream. There was a whole new LLC that was filed, and Matt McNeff was under it for that particular for the Eugene store, where the Eugene store is located, and that came, I think, right after the whole announcement. That the infamous announcement where they said, "Oh, we got rid of Josh, and we've parted ways with Josh and Brandon Best." When they made that big.
Yeah,
that
but I
big
thought
post.
that was just for corporate.
I mean, it seemed like just for show, but like I said, there was people that were sharing online. Like, hold on, let me see. I know I have it somewhere here. I have to go back a little bit. But they had. Let me see if I could find it. Somebody was sharing online. Let me see. I think it was the barbecue counselor on X. It's the account I follow. He's the one that had shared this information that I thought was interesting, that it seemed like a new LLC was registered, and it was registered to that location. But if you went online and searched for Josh's LLC, it was still there as well. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that. In the meantime, let me see. Because there's been so much stuff coming out on the daily about these guys, in their past. Like, the internet's in overdrive right now, trying to find every little bit of information.
Well, everything's moving
Yeah,
quickly
and
too.
unfortunately, it's none of the Lego YouTubers. Like the Lego YouTubers are pretty silent for the most
Yeah, I did
part.
hear you
Some are
mention that.
doing
Yeah, I heard you mention that too in your interview with the Echo Base guys about the bigger, some of the bigger Lego channels not really touching it you know,
Doing
to kind of
coverage and
stories.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping their
'cause
distance from it.
like the what bothers me is like when you start like I'm a little guy, right? I'm on YouTube, I'm enjoying myself, but if I'm covering something like I love Superman, but if I see it going down a bad road, it's my responsibility to point out that negativity, you know? Like I can't just be positive all the time. I chose to talk about this. I chose to
Yeah.
be part of that sphere. So like so these other YouTube and stuff, and then they say things like, I want to be positive, this has nothing to do with me, and it's like, this is bigger than just Lego, this is bigger than all that. And in your sphere, like you can really make this, like, keep it alive. Because like if you go out in the street, people don't know about this story. Like it's not like it's everywhere for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Like who knows what, when there's the hearing and when they go to court, that they're just like, oh yeah, this seems like a ridiculous thing, because you see people try to explain it and they never can do it justice, the corruption with the police and all that stuff, and unless they actually watch the video. So then what's the jury gonna think when they just think like, oh yeah, it's this guy like making a big fuss about Lego, and then that's it?
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with dishonest people. Like how they need to see the public outcry on the internet of why why like this was such a big deal. Why is this going to court? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Relic, I do have a question for you, and it's more of like an opinionated kind of question. So I was kind of just wondering, like, oh, don't do this to me. Don't leave. Don't, come on, train of thought. Stay in line. No. Oh my God. Okay, no, I remember. So basically, what I'm trying to ask you is that it seems like they kind of have this pattern. It's like they know what to do too much to people, you know, to like stiff them over, to fuck them over. So like I feel like they kind of. Are you aware that they had a lawsuit with their father already, or no?
Yeah, I was aware like before I even
Like work with them?
signed the franchise agreement. Yeah, because from what I understood is that I talked to Matt and Ammon, and then I went out and talked to as many people as I could that were, I guess, on their father's side. And from what I understood is that like he was doing all sorts of stuff. He was also unfaithful with their mother and things like that. And then when I met him, they were no longer on speaking terms with their father.
So they had, okay. All right.
So that's like what I understood, and I'm like, oh shoot, and like that's why because they talked about a little bit about some people never get theirs and things like that, which is also ironic. And they were like, oh, like at least Matt was opening up to me and telling me these stories, and then I was talking to other people and people who were on the side of the father, but like also confirmed that he was not doing proper stuff. So as far as I could tell at this point, as like today, I think they're all dishonest.
Yeah. That boat
because when I also saw his Twitter statement, it's like you attack your sons, but you also defended them at the same time in the same statement.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense to me, and you're condemning Ben, and it's like what?
Yeah,
like,
I did see that.
I don't know if this is
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So this
Did
is
that
what
answer your question?
No, yeah, that's good. I'll have a follow up for you later because I see that John found what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the original, I guess, registry for the see, this is where the Eugene store is, the 7080 Bel Air Boulevard in Eugene. This is the one that's registered to Brandon. You can see it here. So this is this was filed in January 8th of 2025. And then this is the one that
wait, did that say 2026 or 2025?
2025. That was 2025.
Okay.
Here, I'll put it back up real quick just so you can see. Let me see.
It just looked a little blurry to me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's 2025 for this one. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see it right there, 2025. It looks
from my end, it looks like 2026, but
yeah.
John, send him a copy so he can see it.
I'll send it to you.
No.
Twitter.
It's all good. I believe you. I believe you. You
Oh
good.
no, yeah, just so you could like read it too, just in case.
But
'Cause I
this
can't
is,
see it either.
No, I could read it. It's just that like the year it was very small.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this
Weird.
this was what
Yeah.
he followed up with, what the barbecue counselor followed up with, though, which I found interesting because it falls on the same date that Bricks and Minifigs put out their blog post, right? So he put yesterday, Bricks and Minifigs corporate, along with the McNeff and Brimhall families who run corporate, filed for a new LLC in Oregon at the address of the BAM store in Eugene, run by Brandon and Josh. So this is what they're referring to, and it was e-filed on that same day, on June 4th, 2026. And you see right here, the principal place of business is that same address, the 7080 Blair Boulevard in Eugene, Oregon. So I thought this was interesting, because I guess this was, again, I don't know if they're just filing this LLC and saying, no, see, look, this is how it's not Brandon's anymore. We're filing a business there.
But is there, if we could see in real time, is there 2 LLCs now attached to that location or no? Because remember, they also have a separate. Actually, no, that's the Salem location. But I want to know if like there's 2 LLCs attached instead of just like the new one.
Yeah, so it looks like this is the name of the LLC, the Willamette Forest Ops LLC, on this thing here.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is what was filed that same day. So I guess, unless they're doing it as some other kind of LLC to throw people off the, throw them completely off of the scent there, and it's still going to be a Bricks and Minifig store. But this was filed literally that same day. E-filed that same day is what they found. So
because the statement came out a few days after they actually got rid of Josh and Brandon.
Oh, so what date was, because the statement came out on June 4th, and that's when they registered.
It was June 2nd.
Oh, so it was 2 days
2nd.
before.
Yeah.
So that's when they called you, right? When they asked you, or they told you, hey, we got rid of
the second time they called me. Yeah. And I was like, what's the point of this phone call? Is this supposed to give me some comfort? And then I was like, he's like, is there anything we could do? I'm like, yeah, give me $500,000 in a check. Even if I asked for a penny, they wouldn't give it to me. So I was like, and they're like, oh, I wish we had that money. I'm like, yeah, 300 stores and no money. That's crazy.
That's interesting that they called you. Do you think that maybe, this is just pure speculation, right? Do you think that maybe the reason why they were calling you is because of the fact that they probably had an idea that there was a better chance than not, whether or not they knew beforehand or not? Well, I'm sure they knew after seeing Ben's video, but
so the day before, Matt McNeff and I had a conversation, and it's recorded on his end. He told me not to get involved, but I already had dealings with Reckless Ben at this point, and I was in one of his videos for like 5 seconds. We had like a really long FaceTime call, but and then like I kind of let it all out. Like I was on the phone for an hour, like, this is some bull, like you're trying to peel as my friend. And then he claimed that he wasn't aware that they closed it down as after the day after there were personal guarantors. I'm like, well, if that's true, then you guys are one of the most incompetent owners I know, because that's worse. That's way worse.
Yeah.
And like, I can't believe him because of everything he did, but he sounded empathetic. He sounded like he was trying to like give me some sort of comfort like the next day, but I can't believe it because of everything they did to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So gotta give credit to where it's due, I guess, but I don't believe it. I don't believe he was actually empathetic. The logical reason for calling me, because as soon as I hung up, I called back pissed, and I was like, what was the point of that phone call, man? That was my first question.
Yeah.
I was like, I just thought you would want to know. And I'm like,
so do you
get the F out of here.
do you think that's
Fucking asshole.
do you think that could be because the reason why he gave you the call and tried to give you that small measure of comfort was maybe because he feared you potentially getting involved in litigation against them or telling your story?
I don't know. I haven't since then. I haven't been in contact. I haven't received any lawsuits or anything like that. I again, I can't even figure out why they're doing all this stuff. So I have no speculation. I try not to even think about it. Like maybe it came from a good place. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, and here's the other thing. It's like I feel like them four are all lying to each other as well.
Oh yeah.
Like,
That
Ammon's
that
not on the same page as
100%,
Matt. Yeah. So it's like, and definitely, I probably, like, my own opinion from all my interactions with Josh and Brandon, they probably have lied to Matt, and Ammon are doing other things that none of us know about.
Oof.
Yeah.
You
I can exactly see that.
Like, I guarantee, and that's the thing with liars. Like, you're not gonna trust even your own shadow. You're going to freaking lie to all the people that you're supposed to trust. So
Yeah.
that, like,
Yeah.
I think when the court case actually comes out, like, they're gonna be scrambling.
Yeah. Well, that's something that we've talked about at length here too, is that we're kind of that same mind, because when you see, especially in the CoffeeZilla video, I think that was devastating for them. I thought that was
Bad
so
idea.
bad for them. Terrible idea for them to go and interview with
Talk.
Coffee, because they
speak.
contradict
Shut up.
each other. It's like you see that Matt McNeff says something and then Eamon says something completely different. So the right hand doesn't even know what the left hand is doing.
You want to know something funny? I did tell Matt McNeff, I'm like, hey, as somebody who I used to consider a friend, I'll give you this one piece of advice. Tell Ammon to shut up because he keeps sounding like a dick every time he's on a stream.
Yeah.
That guy does not know how to be a human being.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's still true.
like, Matt, I don't like. I told Matt, I'm like, I don't think you're coming off great either, but you seem more like human than your brother.
Yeah.
So that's my one piece of advice for you. But, like, I'm not trying to help you guys either. I told him, like, I'm not trying to help you. I hope whoever is at fault receives justice.
Yeah.
And the truth will be told, and that's what I want.
Agreed.
Because I'm a man of justice. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same way. That's why we've been covering it too, because we want the word to spread and continue to spread until these people are held accountable, and even the American Fork Police Department too.
Yeah. That's, the American Fork Police Department. That's a crazy situation. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. We're
That's
real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry, because we're kind of looming around the topic. So I'm gonna hit you with that follow-up relic real quick. So, like, in your opinion, do you think, like, they did what they did because people wouldn't have cared, just because it's like Legos? You know what I mean? It's like an individual with Legos. It's like a bad business deal. Do you think that's kind of like their frame of mind, or is that like off base? Because I feel like that's what
are you talking about? Like
okay.
Are you talking about like the police department?
No. I'm talking about, like, the main four. Josh, Eamon. Like, with the repeated patterns of, like, taking businesses and then, like, they just shut them down and everything like that. And, like, they kind of screwed
I think
Brian over and yourself over. Like, they just won't suffer anything because no one will care.
I think they're opportunists. If they could find a way to get away with something, they'll do it. Because multiple times, every at my location, the reason that our location was filled to the brim was because of the community. I didn't deal with vendors, right? So we got some awesome trades, man. Like, we would get like $3,000 sets new in box, and I'd always pay cash. I never did consignments, layaways, nothing, none of that stuff. And then when Josh and Brandon took over, every time we had a really nice, like, trade, or like a good amount, every time they find out we had like a decent amount of cash for trades in the bank account, we would just get a phone call the next morning, and then they would be like, we want you to send all these sets to the Eugene location, and also go deposit that cash into our bank account.
Oh,
interesting.
Like, what about the money for this location? Yeah.
That's wild. See, because again, that kind of falls in line with, again, even, going back to the coffee video for a sec, right? With the whole Utah thing and the denial, and then it confirmed to be true. And then even more so now, people are confirming the time frame in which it was returned. So it's like, it just, every day it's just like something new comes out that completely contradicts their story, and that's the thing too with all these guys. They always contradict each other too. It's just like I thought when me and Aura watched the video, because Aura had seen some of it, I was reacting to it live. I was just like, why did they do this? This was like the worst thing they could have done doing this video, because now you have a situation where, like with the U-Haul truck, for example, right? I'm like, they probably had some degree of plausible deniability, but now they don't, because you have Brandon even show the receipt. He literally shows the receipt. I'm like, well, now he just showed that there's a paper trail. So now he just substantiated the fact that the U-Haul truck not only was there, but was his, you know what I mean? So it's just like where maybe they could have argued, well, hey, there was a U-Haul truck there, but you can't prove that it's ours. It might have been the store next to that store's. You know what I'm saying? They could have lied, even though it would have sounded stupid. It would have sounded stupid, but they had that degree of plausible deniability where they could be like,
it would have sounded stupid, John. Did you hear fucking Eamon's reasoning for why it was there?
Oh my God. And then that long-winded reason, he gave, where he's like, well,
he had an hour drive in the middle.
Yeah. He's like, well, actually, there was a U-Haul. But let me explain why.
Now that you mention it, there was and
you know what's funny?
So
it seems
terrible.
like Eamon and Josh have that in common, where they have this tendency
retardation.
to over-explain. Yeah, where they over-explain. Absolutely, absolutely retarded. They over-explain shit that honestly is just like, listen, I just asked you a question. Just answer the question. You don't gotta give me the history of this tire that you put on the car. Just tell me what happened. You know, but
dude, that Josh guy,
he seems like a scumbag.
He's certifiably insane. No, I'm telling you, like the things he believes in, like I've said it multiple times because I just think it's insane. He believes that Elvis is still alive, like 100%. Like the things he talks about, like it's this fool is insane.
Elvis is alive. He's hanging out with Michael Jackson and Tupac at Studio 54.
They're in my house right now. They're in my basement.
Get his lawyers, you dumb bastard. Like, come on.
His lawyers. No, I'm telling you. Like, I don't know. I had never even heard Josh speak. I think John was like telling me that it was when the body cam footage came out, and I saw a picture of him. I'm like, this guy looks like a scumbag. And then I started watching it, and I'm like, oh my God,
he is a thumb.
He does. He looks like a golem to me. He looks like a golem, like a troll or something. I don't know.
Like in the Hobbit movies, the king, the troll.
He looks
king,
like a
dude.
hobbit, but like there's three hobbits making one hobbit. That's him. That's what it reminds me of. Like they're on each other's shoulders. Oh my gosh.
This is more of a human centipede situation, brother. Like,
yeah, except his name is Josh. Yeah.
Ugh.
That's the thing.
He's a
over
creature.
the body cam. Yeah, when we went over the body cam, that's the and this video got taken down, and I'm not sure why yet. The BAMSex channel had uploaded the body cam footage of when the Mormon, the young Mormon man went over to his house to talk to him. The one that he said was a fake Mormon.
Oh yeah.
And what was funny was
that kid was actually a real Mormon from his
community, church. Right? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, like dude, you should. I keep hearing about like members of the church over in Utah. They are outraged over the situation. They are not liking Bricks and Minifigs.
It's giving them bad publicity.
Like,
I would assume. Yeah, it's all kinds of negative attention is coming their way. I'm sure that their church is getting harassed. So.
Yeah, and I think like it's a weird focus. Like I understand that people might hate religion or might hate that particular religion, but it's like I think it's kind of taken away from the $200,000 theft and the corruption in the police department. It's like you should investigate the police department and see their connections to the Mormon church instead of trying to make connections. Like investigate the freaking department.
Yeah, instead of speculating.
So with Josh, I don't know if you ever saw the footage with Josh with the Mormon kid, but what was interesting is there's a point in the ring. There's a point where Josh brings his phone out to the officer and shows him his ring camera.
He had evidence.
Yeah, he's basically showing the officer the evidence, but before that, he had told the officer, "Hey, this kid was trying to get into my house. He was trying to get in through the window. He was trying to open my door up. He was trying to do this. He was trying to do that." And then he's literally, and you can see it on the body cam footage. The officer's looking at the Ring camera footage, and the kid is literally not doing any of that. And then
he's just standing there.
Yeah, and the officer tells Josh, he's like, he's not doing, like, he wasn't trying to get in. He's like, well, I thought he was. This is like, bro, it's just like you handed over the evidence, bro, that completely contradicts what you're saying right here, man. It's just like, and that's what these guys seem to be really good at, is that they go and they say something and then they have to walk it back, or they have to, well, actually, look, I could explain. This is what happened.
Josh had to walk back an entire police report. He said his statement shouldn't be valid because he was too emotional or some gay shit like that. I don't know. Like fucking.
So that's 100% correct, because if you're a good actor and you play off like your emotions, then you could be like, you should retract that. It's actually a legal thing. Like, you can request it because, like, I didn't know what I was saying. I was all up in my emotions. Like, the same thing. Like, why isn't he arrested for saying that he's gonna shoot somebody?
Yeah.
Because he's too emotional. So they can't go after from too emotional, because he was, to the police, he was scared or whatever. So and that pisses me off. It's like, control your damn emotions. This ain't no pussy party. Like, what the freak is going on? Like, you don't get to say whatever the hell you want to say and claim to that you want to kill somebody or pull the trigger, and then just be like, oh no, I was just all up in my feels. My bad.
JK, just trolling, bro.
Hey. Yeah, well, that's how it was with Ben, right? All he went from 0 to 100 real quick. He's like, the whole, you stole him, bitch, you stole the Legos. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, like, what the freak was up with that, man?
Yeah, just going nuts.
Yeah, and twice, Josh claimed that I stole from my store that he took over, and I proved to him twice. Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah, it seems to happen a lot.
I think it's projection.
Yeah, seems to happen a lot. Yeah, I think so too, and it seems to happen a lot where they make accusations against people that are completely unfounded.
Being screwed over by them.
Yeah, they have no hope of proving. Like again, like with the Lego thing with Brian, right? It's just like, well, we no, when we took over the store was empty. Well, no, actually there was Legos in the store, but it wasn't as much money's worth as they said. It was this much. Well, actually, no, maybe it was a little bit more than the initial price that we said it was, and that to me is like the most damning thing I think against them, is the fact that every time they say something and then they have to retract and then they say something else, it just makes them look worse.
Yeah, Eamon said that he had no idea. CopyZilla's like, yes, you did. It's right here. Like, you had it. It's under corporate. Like, you couldn't know about it.
That's the thing. It's like this investigation and this lawsuit has been going on for what, 2 years, and you have all the access to that location's Google Docs, files, emails, whatever, like all contacts, and you're telling me that you're gonna do a RICO case, trying to throw a dude in jail for 20 years, sue somebody for $1.3 million, and change and even come after people who are profiting this, and you didn't do all your due diligence on every single detail that you have access to? Give me a break. You knew that it freaking existed. You saw that.
Furthermore, they denied it. They denied even knowing about it. Like, that's crazy. When they tried it with CopyZilla, he's like, he called them out.
There's no way in hell. Yeah. There's no way in hell that you're going to not see every tiny detail when you're in a lawsuit of what's going on, what can hurt you, and what you can use against your opponent. Yeah.
Well, there's things. It's funny because when we've initially started going over the filings, right? Because it's like 330 pages. Me and Aura were looking at it, it's like, do you think that they prepped this filing before they watched Ben's video, and that's why? And then the further we went to, it's like, oh no, they didn't. I was just like, there's literally stuff in Ben's first video alone that contradicts so much of what they're arguing here, and it's just like, but they're choosing to completely ignore that. I'm like, that's insane. It's just like, are you kidding? I was like, there's no way they don't know. I was like, this is so bad faith, man.
They want to blame Ben's video for all damages, but don't want to take accountability for anything in the video, which is fucking weird. Like, they want to address it without addressing it. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Like, no, it doesn't. Like when you say it like that, but like honestly speaking, like that's what they're trying to do. Like they're responding to it, but they're not trying to respond to all the crazy shit they did. Like,
they're not
Yeah.
addressing specific points that actually contradict some of their claims in their
but they're
filings,
using
which
it,
is insane.
but they're using it to answer in the lawsuit. That's fucking seen anything like that.
Yeah, I've never seen a filing like that before. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, because they timestamp so many parts of the video, and they even actually do a full transcript of the videos and put them in the filing. I'm like, there's literally stuff in the transcripts that contradicts some of their claims.
It's also, have you guys looked into the law firm that they've hired?
No.
I've heard things about them. I like the Denton
They
law firm.
win.
Oh.
They win.
Right.
They are a solid law firm. They're sharks. They don't play around. So that, like, again, the law isn't made for the truth. It's for what you can prove and what you could disprove. And so I really hope Ben has really solid lawyers, because these guys, they ain't no joke. So all this stuff that's going to be all confusing to us, they have somehow made sense to the judge, to whoever it is, and allegedly, I have to keep saying that, to whoever it is they're dealing with, and whatever paperwork they're sending it to.
Right.
Somehow somebody's making sense of this stuff.
That's wild to me.
That's kind of scary.
It's like, because we've looked over a lot of like different legal filings here on the channel. We're just like, this is actually, and because that's the thing, people in the chat were telling us that it's a big law firm and stuff. So it's like, I mean, for a big law firm, I've seen way better filings from smaller law firms that are much more like, in my opinion, much
minuscule
more
cases.
detailed and actually address things, you know what I'm saying, with better conviction and points and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want too many details if you are in the wrong. You want more vague.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want it to be more vague, because then you can explain your way, get more emotion to it instead of getting facts.
Yeah. And given how these guys act.
Is that me, that like crackling sound?
Or is that you?
What?
Or?
I don't know.
Oh, there's like a wind tunnel. I don't know.
I don't hear anything. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Hold on. Let's mute.
I don't know. But,
no, it's over now. It was a weird sound.
Yeah, it already passed. I don't know. Maybe. I think it's coming from you.
Oh, it's back.
Are you running water?
No, I'm not doing anything. I'm just listening to you.
I don't know.
Trying to put out a cryptic
I'll just stay on mute.
CIA. All right. No, now it's fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
You're
before,
fine now.
Okay, fine.
Anyways, so
it sounds good now.
So you've actually had interactions with Ben and dealings with Ben. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? How that came about? Obviously, I would assume that he reached out to you. He had heard about your story, or did you reach out to him?
So I reached out to him, actually. I saw the first video, and as soon as I saw Brandon, I was like, oh,
I know that guy.
I freaking hate this bastard. Yeah, I wish I didn't. And so then I watched it in its entirety, and then he had like a message at the end, like, if you have any information, let us know, email us here. And I'm like, do I got a story for you, brother? And I sent it out, and then he immediately FaceTime. He's like, hey, can we hop on a call? I'm like, yeah. I said, just give me a minute, and he just starts FaceTiming me. I'm like, all right, looks like I gotta pull over. I'm like, give me a second, I'm driving. And then the call was only supposed to be like 10 to 20 minutes, but it went on a little longer because and this is before part 2 came out as well. I told him about like, hey man, these guys, what they told me was like, when Brandon came in the store and he told me a little bit about the Salem location, not that any of this was going on. He's like, oh, one of the stores we rescued, like there was this lady, she had a bird that was crapping all over the Legos. It smelled terrible in there. The customers were complaining, and she was funding her drug addiction, mainly heroin.
Oh my goodness!
Through her sales of in Bricks and Minifigs. I'm like, damn, she was using the store to fund her her drug addiction, and in my mind, I'm like, there's way better ways to do that. But and you can sell your body, like what the freak? But yeah,
Why are you selling Legos?
Yeah.
yeah.
The community.
But then, yeah, and I said that in I think that's the clip he used. But he's like, hey, like, let me know. By the way, super nice guy, exactly like he is on camera. He has like that.
Yeah, he
kinda
seems like a
awkward,
genuine
like,
guy.
dang, oh,
Yeah.
bro, like he's exactly that way when you talk to him. But he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And he was like I think, yeah. So we spoke about some ideas and stuff, and he was like, hey, if you don't want to show up on camera, you let me know. The haunting is back, by the way. And I was like, no, dude, I don't give a. Like, I told him, I don't give a damn. Put this whole thing up there if you want. I don't care. Like, if you need me to do something, let me know what I can do, because these guys are trash. And then he's like, awesome. And then that's it. And I emailed him once, and then, like right before the gag order is when I got the call from Matt McNeff, threatening, like, if you get yourself involved, it's not gonna be good for you and whatnot. Like, saying this as a friend, I'm like, man, F your friendship, what the hell? And then since then, like, he got the gag order, so like, and I told him, like, well, you're too little too late. I already talked to Ben, so whatever happens after this, I'm still gonna go talk to him if he asks me to talk to him, but he hasn't. And then the whole gag order happened. And also, like, I think I don't have anything that could help him, but just to keep the story alive, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think
So,
that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Is just keep the story going, because until he has his hearing and seeing what they're gonna do in regards to that, the injunction, he's
and I'm super grateful to Echo Base and Camelot, and thank you guys for having me on here. Like, they're the first two that like really like were heard my story, and I didn't even reach out to them. Like, I just commented, like, oh yeah, these guys, like, when I owned the store, they suck, like, they took everything from me. And then Nick from Echo Base was like, yo, you want to come on? Like, and then we had a conversation and everything, and then I came on and I told my side of the story and what happened to me. But yeah.
No, I mean, it's good. It's good that you did, because I think at least, the hope is maybe more people would come out, tell their story of their experience with, because you have to imagine, obviously, if they did this to you, they did this to, Chrystal, whatever, they've obviously done this to more people. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe assumption to make, is that they've done this to probably
and like
more people, many more people.
Or like Josh and Brandon, they weren't involved when I went in to Bricks and Minifigs. They were not part of anything. So didn't know them then. And like, in any franchise, like, there are possibility and usually at least one or two hostile takeovers. Like, that makes sense. Like, if somebody's hurting your brand and doing whatever the hell they want to do, like, if anybody's seen the Founders movie, that's the kind of understanding you can have. Like, if they're selling fried chicken instead of cheeseburgers and hot dogs, like, that's not McDonald's, right? So
I've seen that movie.
I knew of sad movie. It's gonna.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, Ray Kroc was a piece of shit. But
yeah,
he was a piece of shit, but he was smart. He was smart though.
Smart, yeah. And so like, I knew of two situations that I heavily looked into that Bricks and Minifigs hostile takeover made sense. But at this level and what they did to me, like, it wasn't even close. It was more like they went in and were like, hey, you violated this, like, you're no longer part of Bricks and Minifigs, boom. But the things they did to me, that it was way more.
That's crazy, man. I think
is he all right?
He's restarting his thing.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Anymore.
Can you hear me? Hello? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm gonna try to hop in and out because I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. Can Chad hear me?
Give me a second.
Guys, can you hear me?
Hop right back in.
Can you guys hear me there in chat? All right. I don't know what's happened. Is Bricks and Minifigs are doing this to us again? Chat. Type 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me. Type 1 in the chat if you can hear me. All right. Yeah, because I heard him too. I don't know what's going on with streams. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight. Yeah. They're coming for us, boys. They're coming for us. Bricks and Minifigs trying to get us. All right, here we go. Relic is back. Let's see.
Okay, now I could hear you. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I don't know. It must be banned, bro. They're coming for us, man.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was thinking, man. And YouTube ain't liking us right now.
Yeah, they're trying to silence us. Oh, okay. Aura's back. Let me see. Aura, you back, baby girl?
I don't know. I swapped Wi-Fi. I'm sitting in candlelight. There should be no wind in here. So,
oh, romantic.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Perfect. But not yet. So, yeah, when we got, like, I remember when I first saw this story, man, because I had actually been on hiatus for quite a bit. And
it's been a year, John. Really, that's why I have this shitty mic. I put my mic away and I can't find it.
Yeah, so it had been a while since I had done content, man, and it infuriated me to the point. It's like, all right, now this cannot stand, because watching your interview, we feel kind of the same way. It's just like we want to see people be held to account for what's happened here, right? We want to see these people get justice, the people that need to get justice in this situation. Whether that's monetary compensation for them, for their troubles, for medical bills, whatever it might be, or whatever, but and actual consequences for the people that think that they could just take advantage of people like you, you know what I mean, and just screw you over, and then just wipe their hands clean and go on and do it to somebody else.
Dude, like I can't even explain the stress I had when I got the phone call about like I was still owner or on the lease or whatever, and I owed all that money. Like my third son was just a week old. I was flipping the hell out. And like some people are like, I can't believe this, like shrewd businessman just forgave him. I'm like, we had multiple phone calls. It wasn't just one phone call. I told him the story and like, oh, it's all sunshine and rainbows. I was trying to find ways to pay him.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm working 80 hours a week right now at a restaurant. I think I could take up a construction job and get at least 30. At the time, the restaurant was paying like really decent. So like it kind of equaled out, but I was like, okay, I could probably do like no days off, 3.5 hours sleeps a day, and get that going, But then I told him, like, I don't think I could even come up with that money in like the next 8 years from just working jobs. Like I'd have to come up with some idea or whatever. But like we kept negotiating a little bit, and I'm like, hey man, like, and if anybody doesn't know how bankruptcy works, as soon as you file bankruptcy, they can't really come after you. There's no money. Oh. So I told him, like, I'm looking at bankruptcy at some point. Mm-hmm. And we had conversations like, well, how much money you got right now? What can you sell? What can you I'm like, well, if I sell my house right now, like, we're just out of a place to live because I used some of that money to invest. And then like I was like, man, maybe I could sell the car, whatever. I was trying to come up with ideas, but then through our conversations, he eventually came to the conclusion is like, I could always find another tenant, and you were always honest with me. Dealing with you was a walk in the park, and with them, I've always had problems ever since they took over. So why don't you just go clean the place out so I could present it to more tenants, and we'll call it even. And I'm like, dude,
that's crazy.
Like,
yeah,
I can't even explain the feeling of like just being able to breathe. It was incredible.
Blessing, man.
I'm glad you got through it. I'm glad you got through it, because that sounds like hell, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
So I wanted, to ask in regards to that real quick. My bad, or I want to ask in regards to that real quick. When the owner was telling you that he had nothing but problems with those guys, I would assume also when they took over the store, were you privy to like how sales were around the time that they took over?
When
Was
they
there a
took
big
over,
drop off?
oh, massive drop off. Their best month was like $16,000.
Wow.
Dude, I think their worst month was like 5.
It's another
We
pattern,
had-
John.
We
Yeah.
had days where there was nobody in the store. That never happened before. Like we would have a
Jeez.
day like maybe it rains super hard and there's no sales because somebody walks in and walks out. They just wanted to hang out, whatever. But yeah, like again, like just off social media alone, the way we built the community and had them connected to us, they like if we posted something that a lot of people were seeking, sometimes we just have like 30 people show up at the store in a matter of hours.
Right.
Because we would tell everybody, like every day we would tell, hey, check out the Instagram, like keep an eye on social media, stuff like that. That's where we're gonna post it because we can't like call every single customer we ever had. Like this is the what's it called, the set you're looking for or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Which is important, yeah. Like, because I was going to say, as soon as they acquired that store, they ceased marketing, didn't they?
Zero.
Yeah.
Ceased marketing, advertising. They stopped even posting on social media. They also opened up their own social media. They got like 200 followers or whatever that is supposed to be for the store. I'm like, that doesn't make sense at all. And then they did like a raffle for a UCS Jabba cell barge. And by the end of the raffle, they never give away that raffle. They're like, oh, we're just canceling it. Because it was like, if you come in, buy something, and then leave a review, then you get like this ticket or something like that. And you've entered into the raffle. And then somebody's going to win a $500 set. And then it never happened.
Oh, they seem to never honor their lotteries anyway.
Yep.
Just joshing. I'm just joshing.
No, see, that's not surprising because, looking at, so my understanding again with Chrystal's situation was that the reason why she was trying to get out of her franchisee agreement was also because, business wasn't doing too good and she was in debt and, wanted to break away, at least from what she said publicly.
I thought she said that they had a business opportunity overseas.
That is what
they wanted to sell it to have some money and then she contacted to be able to sell and put some money in her pocket before they went.
Yeah. So apparently, I guess, I mean, maybe two things to be true at the same time, because one of the things that I think she's also said is, or that's been said in regards to filings and whatnot, and what she said publicly is that store wasn't doing the best. Either it wasn't doing the best business, but it seemed like when they took over the store, when Josh and Brandon took over the store, that didn't help the business either. It seemed like
they let it die.
It seems like from all accounts of people that have looked into financials and things like that, there seems to be the consensus that regardless, it seemed to be heading towards closure. And these guys didn't really help. So when they were like blaming Ben, like, I'm sure you've seen the body cam footage where Josh is just like, oh, well, that store is closed permanently now because of them. He was talking about Ben and his friends, that the Kaiser store was closed because of the constant harassment. But it seems like, again, from what people have said, that it seemed like that's where it was going anyways, because business there apparently wasn't all that
but
great.
Like the only quote unquote harassment was from Ben. So it wasn't like other people, like it wasn't in social media at the time at all.
But what about Brian? What about Brian? It's his Legos.
Yeah.
It's Brian's Legos.
And it's not harassment if all they're doing is going in there asking questions and giving like phone calls. They're not threatening them.
They're trying to get their property back, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what was absurd about the whole police report with Josh, because he was that's the one that CoffeeZilla brought up in his video, where Josh basically says in the police report something to the effect of like, oh, there was mostly layaways back here, right? And which then he denied that there was only 2 or 3, but in the police report he said there were several. And then he That's also the same police report where he said that he did find some Lego sets for Brian, and that he told him that he was going to give them back to him. But then Brian called the store too much, so he got annoyed essentially, and he didn't. It didn't say it in the police report, but basically he said that he kept calling the store too much, and that he decided basically to just keep them. And it's just like, wait, you know what I mean? Again, it goes back to the stuff like
Yeah,
even
and
with the
that's
stuff he
also
told
proof
Ben.
that you actually have them, because then
Yes.
they claim that they didn't have them.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, after initially even telling Ben like, "Hey, when I got the store, the place was empty." Again, it's always the changing of the stories. And again, when you factor in like the U-Haul, when you factor in that that's been proven to be true, the fact that Brandon went there that night, the fact that apparently, according to Crystal, the most expensive stuff was in the back. You know what I mean? And he had
Yeah.
access. Brandon had access. There's the video that not a lot of people talk about is the video where before Brandon leaves, he actually is like she's telling him he's reiterating the combination to the safe back to Crystal, where presumably the most expensive stuff was. But remember what Matt said in the CoffeeZilla video. Hey, well, I don't see those on the inventory list. So look, obviously wasn't there, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption to make that, hey, given the fact that he was there that night and he had access to the safe to the most expensive stuff that Matt couldn't find on the inventory list, I think it's
but
pretty safe to say it was taken out of the store that night.
Yeah, and it's also like we see two different pictures of who took them. Like Brandon possibly could have taken those sets for himself as well. Like
Yeah.
he took pictures and then left out certain parts of the store where it didn't look as empty.
Yep.
You know, and like that there is I'm not trying to give anybody the benefit of the doubt at all, but there's
Yeah.
also a possibility like these guys are liars, that they like Brandon didn't show the pictures to Matt, and it's making
Yeah.
them look even
That's
worse. Yeah.
and I thought the same thing too, is that, maybe again, it's one of those instances where, the person who's saying whatever their side of the story is, they're obviously not being completely honest. And
Yeah.
what I thought was interesting, right? Because when we hear about what Crystal did and her photos, she's willing to show the metadata to show that they were time stamped and taken on those dates. What was interesting in the CoffeeZilla video, you notice that whenever they showed pictures that Brandon and them had, they never mentioned any metadata or time stamping on them, which I would assume CoffeeZilla would have asked them for, right? I would
Yeah.
think. You know what I mean? Or I would think that if these guys are trying to prove that they're telling the truth, they would have offered that up. They would have been like, hey, look, not only here are the pictures that I took around the same exact time, and you can see it right here. Here's the metadata to prove it. But
Well,
there
they
wasn't
also
that.
got what's funny is they also got the camera that could pan over and could take a look at the store, and no sides are providing that. Like that's where I find it strange of like, also who's holding all the camera footage?
Yeah.
Why isn't any of that being released? Because
I'm
you could,
guessing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, because there's always multiple angles in a store. There's at least like 3 or 4 angles, different cameras that could capture the entire store. And so we don't even need pictures. We can just see them in the store and then just pan the camera over and see what's going on from multiple sides.
Yeah. I'm guessing
Yeah.
that'll come out in Crystal's case against them, either through discovery, But I would think also that when in like Crystal's case too, right? When one of the biggest things, because I've said this before multiple times, I think it's very possible that Crystal's negligence could have caused this situation too. We gotta at least accept that as a possibility. But what I've also
she
said,
did point out that like they made a certain amount of sales and they didn't pay him fully.
yeah, and
Like
this is
till this day, and that's why I want to know like where's the consignment agreement? Like,
Yeah.
was this just written pen paper? Was there a lawyer involved? Was it from Bricks
Yeah.
Minifigs? Where's
Well,
all
it was
these
a-
agreements coming from?
Yeah, it was
know?
apparently a printed out agreement that's been put into the lawsuit that they show it in the lawsuit that they filed against Ben, but I assume it's also in the lawsuit that Crystal filed against Bricks and Minifigs.
No,
But
because in my thinking, like if you lose the product of consignment, right? Then whoever owns the property or the sets or the value of it has to compensate the person with the contract. So Brian, if they can't find the sets, Brian still owed compensation for the
Yeah.
lost product.
Yep, and that was in his consignment agreement. Yep.
Yeah,
That
and
was
that should
was
be in the consignment agreement. So like, I think that is gonna be a big deal of like, yeah, you took over the store, so that means you took over this consignment agreement and you didn't follow what this consignment agreement is
Yeah.
agreed upon. Like,
And that's the craziest part about it too, is it's like if Crystal did have let's say, and this is completely, like I said, this is just a hypothetical scenario. Let's say she was completely responsible for negligence in the situation as to why Brian wasn't paid. The problem I see, at least for Bricks and Minifigs, is that phone call where corporate basically says it in front of Brandon, who is seizing the store, right? Hey, well, Brandon's going to be taking over the store, so he's going to take on that consignment. So at that point, I'm looking at that, I'm like, well, that's them accepting responsibility for it. So now they just, to me, it's just like, now they just basically took it out of her hands regardless. Like, even if she was at fault, I'm like, I think that was a big mistake for them to say, because it's just like, they're saying they're going to take it on, and this guy's going to take it on, and he has no
it's
objection.
also like, did Brandon, did Brandon provide any paperwork that it was like official to Chrystal? Like, because it could be like, if a random person just walks in your store and is like, yeah, this is my store now, you're gonna be like, yeah, get the hell out of here, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, so did corporate tell, I think it said in a video, I'm not sure, did corporate tell Chrystal that Brandon was coming to take over the store?
So I don't know if they.
He was a secret shopper for that store, like twice, I think.
I know they sent him as a secret shopper beforehand, and then I think they told her afterwards when he was coming that night. I think they did inform her of that. But remember, he had gone to scope out the store beforehand as a secret shopper, quote unquote, a couple weeks prior to that.
Yeah, because there was a situation here in Florida, and it's before Brandon and Josh, but it is Bricks and Minifigs, where like the owner violated some of the franchise agreement stuff, where like it was a very big deal, and then corporate came out and was like, we're kicking you out, and then he was like, no, I'm calling the cops, like, you have no right to do this. I'm not seeing any paperwork, any letters from a lawyer. And then when the cops showed up, it's like, yeah, you can't kick him out, his name is on the lease, his LLC owns this Bricks and Minifigs, so corporate couldn't do anything, but they were able to do something later where I guess the lawyers got involved. So like, luckily there was good cops here.
Yeah.
Like, did they have all the paperwork? Like, we are taking over the store. Here's who I am. Here's my ID. Call Matt and M and all this stuff, and boom, like.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that's unclear, right? Because we only see just certain clips of the Ring camera, and they're clips that Chrystal had. They're clips that she shared. So there's people that could probably argue like certain contexts and things like that. So, I don't know, but I think still just the little context that is in these videos, right? I think still paint a pretty bad picture for Bricks and Minifigs, regardless.
Their actions paint a bad picture for them. Everything they're doing is a bad picture. This lawsuit's a bad.
They did after the fact, yeah, especially everything they did after the fact. So
the fact that they want to silence these videos when it makes them look so fucked, I remember we were going over that lawsuit, John, and we found the transcript videos, and I was like, I swear they wanted those videos down and they expected them to be down. That's why they transcribed them.
Well, in their claim of like suing Brian and everybody involved for 1.3 million, it's also in there. It states that like anybody who's making content and profiting off this, they want that money too.
Come through.
Good luck.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Anyway,
that's not how that works. You can't just like blanket injunction the internet. That's not.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, they've done things that I didn't think that's how it worked, and all of it was bullcrap.
Yeah.
No, dude, for real.
Yeah. So like that's why I like it. So I don't know if you guys saw the rest of the interview with me and Echo Base or any other interviews. Like after when I went to go clean the store, I took pictures of everything. There was people's like information out, trade sheets with credit card information, all that stuff. They just left it for anybody to grab it. And then I
Jeez, bro.
contacted another law firm, and I told them I don't have any money and all this stuff, because I was like, I gotta protect myself. I don't know what else is gonna happen. Like I thought
Mhm.
it was just over,
Yeah.
And then around like November of 2025, so hasn't even been a year. Like I get a letter from that law firm, because the agreement was like we could talk, but then to get a contract, we at least need some monetary value exchange. So I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna get some extra shifts and save up some money, and we'll like negotiate like a down payment or something, right? And then before I can do that, I get a letter from the lawyer I was talking to, and he was like, hey, unfortunately, we looked into it more, and it looks like our law firm can't represent you because it would be a conflict of interest, meaning that they're already representing somebody
That's crazy.
that's part of Bricks and Minifigs.
That's
so
wild.
all that work that we did for months was nothing. And then,
Man.
yeah, and I'm not saying that's what they did, but it's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
Because
It's probably not a coincidence.
yeah. But he was like, I could recommend you another law firm. I'm like, look, man, I know your law firm, and you guys are solid, and I don't trust another law firm. And this was like my last hope. So for like a year, I tried, and and one of the reasons I call Lego YouTubers cowards, because before I knew anything about the Reckless Ben stuff, I was trying to get the story into the Lego sphere. I'm like, hey guys, like I follow multiple people, multiple different type of YouTubers, but I'm like, this is Lego associated, and nobody wanted to touch the story. Nobody, if people even were like, if I'm gonna do this, like I want you to pay me like $1,500. And I'm
What?
Shit.
Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah,
That's wild.
and I'm like,
That's
dude,
insane.
like, does nobody want like the truth or like an exposure on this company that everybody's praising, like
And supporting, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, let me ask you about that to expand upon that a little bit more, because I'm sure you saw in Ben's video that there was some Lego YouTubers that initially were talking about Brian's story, but then I guess were threatened with lawsuits. Were any of them ones that you had reached out to, or was that a completely different set of guys? Or
do you have the names?
I could bring up the video, I guess, and we could check on the video itself.
Because I did hear like there was some YouTubers that Brian first contacted, and then they got in trouble and dealt with some cease and desist orders, and they just stopped. And then he went to talk to Brian. But yeah, unless I know the names, I don't remember them saying the names of who it was that Brian was in contact with.
I don't recall them saying names. I think Ben showed them in his video. Let me see if we can find it. I know this kind of seems like we're kind of naming and shaming. I'm just curious, really. I'm just actually just curious to see, because I thought it was interesting that there was some that were reached out to, but then immediately were scared to continue covering it because of potentially being sued. So hold on, let me see if I can find it. It probably might have been before all this. Let me see. I think this might be. Hold on, let me see if this is it. Yeah, I think this was it. These guys, I think, were the ones that were covering it. I don't know if you could see them here. Let me put it here. Let me see. So I guess these are the guys that were initially, I guess, covering it: Oxfather, Dean the Dream, Money Mendez, The Ben Thomas Show, Badfish, Mike Siskiller Collector, 1/6 Figure Focus, and Marco G.
I believe these are like collector channels. I don't think any of these were Lego
centric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like
Okay,
I went like directly to Lego YouTubers who only deal with Lego, or at least have a channel that only does Lego. And I'm not saying I reached out to every single one that exists, but I reached out to a lot.
Just ones you thought that would be
make some impact,
interested in the story.
And ones that I actually thought like that did hate Bricks and Minifigs, but apparently the entire time like there were some YouTubers, and I'm not gonna try to start drama or beef. Like, there was some YouTubers that would criticize Bricks and Minifigs, but then as soon as they got a contract, dude, they made like every other video was about how great Bricks and Minifigs was. I'm like, oh man, you spineless snake.
Sounds like the Pokemon. No, I'm just kidding. Let me not go there.
So I guess they're called collecting weekly, is
Relax.
what that says. I guess it's they're called collecting weekly, I believe. I guess it's these guys here. So that's cool. I mean, when I heard that they dropped it because they were threatened with lawsuits, part of me was like, cowards, right? But at the same time, I kind of had to think about
It's
it.
a
I was
scary
like, you
thing.
know what?
Like, yeah.
At the same time, nobody wants to be sued, and a lot of people that aren't necessarily that they're not like legally savvy. If you're not legally savvy and you hear the word lawsuit or somebody taking you to court, it's probably going to scare you. Especially,
but it's probably like they probably did some things that Bricks and Minifigs were comfortable suing immediately, because with Reckless Ben, they try to bait him into suing them.
yeah.
So maybe Reckless Ben had some more ammunition where he like understood like, oh, I gotta stay away from this because this is why these guys got sued, and so he was able to make sure that he didn't get sued for a really long time.
Yeah, he navigated through it a little bit better, and that's what I think too. It's just like I was kind of like, oh, you know what, I can't be too harsh because at the same time, I don't know what these guys are thinking, what their situation is, and then being like, look, man, I just
or if they overstepped. If they truly overstepped in the
exactly,
way.
or if they truly overstepped, they might have said something that was actionable by a lawsuit. So at the same time, I was kind of like, you know what, can't really fault them because again, especially if you don't know, you're not going to take that risk, right? If you don't know what your rights might be, or you're not going to take the risk of being like, all right, it's better probably for us to just leave it alone, So.
Well, like, probably trying to give people as little trouble as possible and be cooperative as possible to try to get the same result in return,
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to like highlight, like, look, Reckless Ben, he went after Scientology. He went after he's infiltrated the Secret Service. He's done so many other things. And the biggest problem that he has is with Lego.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Dude, because you know what Scientology will do, especially if they feel like you're attacking their company, they will do what's called. Do you know anything about Scientology?
I do, yeah,
a little bit. So you know about fair gaming, then, right?
Yep.
When they do fair gaming, and that's one thing right there, and they will do that shit to you for life. Mm-hmm. They will do that shit to you for life. Fair gaming
until they get bored of you.
Yeah, until they get bored of you. Yeah, so fair gaming chat, for those of you that don't know, is basically when it's open season on you, they do everything they can. They will follow, they will hire private investigators to follow you around to try to dig dirt on you. They will have people picket outside your house, calling you, defaming you, saying all sorts of terrible things about you, to
harassing your family, harassing you, anybody you care about.
Yep, anybody close to you, anybody that'll listen, they'll try to completely ruin your life,
and guess what? It's not that expensive to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Especially for Scientology, who's like a multi-billion-dollar
organization.
It's crazy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they don't pay taxes.
Mm-hmm. Completely taxes up. So it's just like, they do some really ill shit. So the fact that Ben did that, knowing that, because he had to know that's, that he was stepping into the lion's den with doing that stuff. You got to give him credit, man, because anybody else would be like, man, I don't want to have to deal with that shit.
No, I see a lot of admirable qualities in him. Like he did this for the sake of somebody else. Like he could have quit at any time.
Yeah.
After getting arrested for like the 8th time, he could have just backed off. And he just kept going. I commend him for that.
It's wild. Bowsette says that, I didn't know this, or did you know about this? Scientology took down Come Geek Some's vids?
I had no idea.
That's crazy.
I had no idea.
Really?
Old friend of ours. Fucking wow.
Old friend of the channel. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. I had no idea. Maybe we should hit him up about that sometime.
I gotta hit him up.
Did he speak out against them, or was it just
probably? I haven't kept up with him. I know he did a lot about Amber Heard.
What was this channel about? It was just news.
It's current events, commentary, commentary, current events. He did a lot of Amber Heard coverage.
So I did remember when I was like studying about like should I get into YouTube, I'm like, oh man, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of like demonetizing anything with current events. You're going in for a battle. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna stick with movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just more. It's always more, I guess, fun if you just do the things that you like to talk about and stuff like that. You know, your interests. So
Yeah, and I'm not somebody that actually likes to actually put news out there because all of it's very negative, right? But when it's important, I think, and it like this story, it's more than just Lego. It's about the little guy. It's your First Amendment rights. It's like there's so many layers to it, and corruption. Like these are real people with authority abusing the law, abusing their authority, and like they live around us. So I think it's really important to like actually talk about the story and put it out there. So I also thank you guys for keeping it up too. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna continue to do so. So, but yeah, we're pretty much at the end here. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We'll take a couple questions from the chat though. If you guys had any questions for Last Relic before we wrap up the show here, please just put them in
I'd
the
just
chat.
like
We'll
to say something real quick, John. I mean, like, while the questions come in, I just wanted to say thank you, Relic, for coming on, you know, because I always think it's important to go and find things like this. Like John and I are going back to old lawsuits just to see how these people operate, like the origins of them. So, like, I think you've given us a lot of insight. You've, you know, shown like certain patterns that they've repeated with the way they operate. So I do thank you for your time and your insight and everything.
Yeah, man. Like I said before, like if I could see that people are very genuine with what they're doing and stuff, I'll come on your show and talk to you. Like I have no qualms, and I like you guys are actually very entertaining. So like I subscribed and everything, and I was like,
oh wow, thank you, man. I gave
What's up to your channel as well?
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
I hope we're able to help with that a little bit. So.
Oh yeah, and like if I can ever help, because again, I want it not to. Obviously I talk about my story a lot, but I want to always point it back to reckless ban, the loss of everything that's going, because like I can't imagine the stress he's going through with like facing 20 years in prison. But thanks for reaching out to me, guys. Like, and again, I felt so bad like not reaching, like getting back to you guys in a timely manner. But
no, it's all good, man. It's all good. We all have, hey, listen, man, we're all adults. We all got real lives and busy and with families and stuff. So it's all good, man. It's not
of course.
like we don't like take it like if
we don't take it personal at all.
We don't take it personal at all. We're very easygoing, so we didn't look at it like or anything.
And that's always been I care a lot about people. Like I go in meeting people assuming everybody's awesome and good. And that's been my downfall with business, is like I trust the wrong people.
I've been there too, man.
Yeah.
Trust me. We tell you plenty of stories, and that's something we could, if you want to stick around, like after we go off air.
Oh
we can,
yeah, like I like chilling.
But yeah, I guess Rachel here has a question. How is store credit entered in the POS? Is it as gift cards?
So if the customer would like it as a gift card and we have them in there, great. Then we could give it to them as a gift card. But usually they have their own account, and then we put it into their rewards. So like after every $100 you spend, you get like let's say one $5 credit. And then if you're like, no, I don't want cash, I'm just really looking for the set, I want to trade Lego for Lego, but you don't have it yet, then we put it into their account and we send them an email of when they had it, to make sure that they also know if anybody came in to use their account to use it. And then we'll say like, use it for this set, or like the Rivendell set. And so then if they come in and somebody else used their account for some other set that wasn't Rivendell, which only happened once, I think it was like the lady's son, but we still gave her some more credit to add on to the set when she came back.
That's cool to compensate. That's good. Yeah. So SG asks, how can BAM be stopped? Boycott?
It's going to take a lot of work. I think they're going to kind of self-implode.
First of all, they're doing enough damage for themselves as is, but like keeping the story alive to me is the most important thing. That's how they can be stopped.
Good stuff.
So Era says, how many relics were there before the last one?
That's clever.
Don't know. That's why
That's a mystery. It's a mystery for another day.
Yeah.
Thursday Tum says, "Does the last relic still have his original franchisee contract?"
Yeah, and I will be showing you guys at some point. I just have to make sure that I'm not crossing any boundaries.
You got to make
with
sure you ain't doxing nobody,
yeah.
including yourself. Yeah, you don't want
mainly
that.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yourself. Yeah, you got to make sure you're not
Yeah.
doing that. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it here. Again, thank you, Relic, for being on. We'd love to have you back on again sometime, man. Just to show
Oh yeah.
on this stuff,
Yeah.
because, like I said, we plan on covering this for as long as it goes, because it's kind of something we do here on the channel, but also we think it's important too. It's one of the things that really motivated us to come back, because it's like, okay, this is something we can really get behind, because we want to see justice as well. So
Yeah, and I really like live streams because even if I stumble across my words or what's it called, or misspeak, I could either correct it or the chat could correct me, and you could usually grasp what I'm saying, but it's not edited in a way that's like look back.
False.
Like you could be like people could see me like they could see me clearly, you know what I mean?
yeah, they could be
Yeah.
and
Transparent,
also
I'd say.
more transparent and sincere. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and put Relic's channel in the chat for those of you that please go subscribe to him. You know what I mean? Give him some love.
Show him channel love, everybody. Come on now.
Love, and yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it here. We appreciate you guys joining us on this stream, and hope you'll join us on the next one. So have a fantastic evening, y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Good night.
Night.